Have you ever wondered why Simba's first son was never seen in the Lion King movies? This is Kopa. We know Kopa as the firstborn of Simba from the book series The Lion King 6 New Adventures. But we've never seen him in the Lion King movies. Most people think Kopa is not canon, because we only know him from the books, which are not canon. But when you look at the movies, you can see there's something weird. At the end of the first movie, we see Simba and Nala got their first cub. The Lion King 2 starts by the couple having a cub Kiara, so we assume the cub from the first movie is also Kiara. But when you look carefully, you can see these are two different cubs. Also, even the ceremonies are different. In the first one, Rafiki walks up the Pride Rock holding the cub. But in the second movie, Nala brings her cub to Rafiki. So, could be the first cub Kopa? If yes, why wasn't he even mentioned in the Lion King 2 movie? And could his story have something to do with Zira? Something that will shock you is that the missing cub appears in the Lion King 2. And very few people noticed it, but not in the way you think. For now, let's look at what Disney has to say about it. But you probably won't like it. According to them, the first cub didn't even have a specific gender, and it was called Fluffy. It was supposed to just represent the circle of life, so they also played the Circle of Life song while presenting the cub. But this only explains why the two cubs don't have the same name, and not why the ceremonies were different. Also, in the second movie, there are clear signs someone is missing, so Disney is intentionally hiding something from us. Due to this, a lot of fans believe Kopa was included in the official Lion King storyline. But now let me tell you Kopa's story, and what I think might have happened to him. First of all, it's important to remember who Zira was, as she played an important role in the story of Kopa. Zira was the most devoted follower of Scar, and after his fall, she was mad at Simba since she probably didn't know the hyenas killed Scar and not Simba. When Simba became the king, Zira was enraged. She fought him, but of course she lost, resulting in her and her followers' exile to the Outlands. Her hatred for Simba only grew after this, so she started to plan a revenge. One of her plans would include Kopa, but how could Zira get close to Kopa while being banished? Well, she had a little advantage. At this time, she also had two kids, Nuka and her daughter Vitani. One day when Kopa was exploring the Pride Lands, he saw a young lion he didn't know. As he got closer, he realized it was a girl. The moment she noticed him, she quickly ran off, frightened. Kopa found it odd, but decided to return to Pride Rock. The next few days, he couldn't stop thinking about it and was wondering why he had never seen her yet. He knew every lion in the Pride Lands and why she wasn't living with his pride. One morning, he decided to go back to the place he met the strange cub. She was there again. He approached her more cautiously this time and told her to not be afraid. Kopa introduced himself and asked why she didn't live with his family. She told him her name was Vitani and that her family was banished from the Pride Lands, so they have to live in the Outlands. She admitted she doesn't have many friends there. Kopa promised to bring his best friend Afua the next morning so she could meet someone new. He did so, and they all started to play together. Soon Vitani brought her brother Nuka to the bond, and the four became inseparable. But between Kopa and Vitani, there was a relationship that started to form deeper. Then one day, everything changed. Zira discovered her daughter's friendship with Simba's son. She wanted to get angry, but an idea occurred to her mind. Simba had taken away the one she loved most, and now she would make him feel that same pain. Hiding her true intentions, she sweetly asked Vitani about her new friend and when she could meet him. Vitani, unaware of anything, invited Kopa over the next time she saw him. Zira nicely welcomed him, acting kind. Over the following weeks, she earned his trust. Once Kopa was planning to play with Vitani and Nuka as always. When Zira saw him coming, she sent Nuka and Vitani to bring her some food. As Kopa came, he asked where Vitani was. Zira kindly welcomed him and said she was out with Nuka but offered to take him to her. Seeing no reason to doubt her, Kopa followed. But as they walked deeper into the Outlands, an uneasy feeling crept over him. By the time he realized he had been lured into a trap, it was too late. Zira's gentle act dropped, replaced by fury. Before he could react, Zira lunged. Her claws raked across his side, knocking him to the ground. Kopa struggled, but he was no match for her strength. As he collapsed, bleeding and broken, she dragged him to the edge of the Outlands and left him there. Satisfied, she returned home as if nothing had happened. She told no one. The next morning, Vitani rushed to their usual spot. Kopa wasn't there. Confused, she returned home and asked Nyoko if he had seen him. He hadn't. Vitani tried not to panic and waited to the next day, but Kopa still didn't show up. She begged Nyoko to help her to find him. But before they could leave, Zira overheard and quickly told them to bring some food so they would forget about Kopa. But Nyoko couldn't stop thinking about what his sister had said. Therefore, he went looking for Kopa. After hours of looking, he saw something in the distance. A body. As he moved closer, his breath caught in his throat. There, lying motionless on the ground, was Kopa. Nyoko was shocked and started crying over his friend. But then something moved. Little Kopa slowly opened his eyes and said, "Nyoko?" "Yes, Kopa, I'm here. What happened?" Kopa told him everything about Zira. Suddenly, Nyuko's expression changed. He didn't believe him. Now, all Kopa's hopes were gone. Therefore, he decided to leave the Pride Lands, to go as far as he could. Kopa stood up heavily and slowly walked towards the horizon. He said to himself, maybe once, when he will be strong enough, he would return, but not now. Nyoko went home and told Vitani what had happened, but she refused to believe him. She knew Kopa wouldn't make up something like that. They didn't tell their mother anything because they didn't want to make her mad. As weeks passed, Vitani started losing hope. So then, both Vitani and Nyoko started to believe that maybe Simba and his family were the enemy, just like their mother had always said. After all this, Kiara was born, so she would never meet her older brother Kopa. Now, unfortunately, we can't consider all this canon since we know the name Kopa and his story just from the Book 6 New Adventures, which are not canon as I said. The Disney logo is on the books just because Disney gave the license to the authors of the books, but this doesn't mean it adds up to the official story. However, there are clear signs someone is missing in the Lion King 2 movie. The two different ceremonies we discussed, and in the Lion King 2 when Simba is talking with Kiara, she slides down a rock, her tail falls over her face, and we see something very familiar. Should this refer to Kopa? They look incredibly much alike here. There are also some signs that something terrible happened to the missing character, aka Kopa. First one is in the Simba's and Kiara's conversation. He warns her about what she did. She was playing with Kovu, the youngest son of Zira. Simba told Kiara,
"You could have been killed today. Killed today."
He didn't want to see the death of his another child. We also see Simba's overprotective behavior throughout the entire Lion King 2 movie. Another one is in the scene that Simba was warning Kiara about. Zira offers her son, Kovu, to Simba. Some might think she gave Simba the opportunity to revenge his father, Mufasa, but that doesn't really make any sense, considering Zira thinks that Simba killed Scar, so that should already be taken as a revenge. The theory is that she offered her son to Simba, so he could revenge that she killed his son, Kopa. So, if you consider Kopa as your headcanon, is up to you. There is also the option that Disney didn't initially plan to create such a character, but after some time since the 6 New Adventures books were published, they started to like the idea of Simba's firstborn wasn't Kiara, therefore they decided to add the hints. I'm curious what you think about all this and what are your theories, so you can let me know in the comments down below. Long live the king.